Thousands of migrant care workers in the UK have been threatened with deportation despite not doing anything wrong on their own part. This and many more I'll be sharing with you in this video. It's really sad that many migrant care workers came into the UK to work as a skilled worker. They are currently being threatened with deportation by the UK Home Office. So guys, if you care to know more about some of the reasons for this deportation threat migrant care workers are facing in the UK, you need to stick with me to the end of this video so we can read through some of the reports that were made in this regard. Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. As you all know, my name is Victor. In this channel, I give latest updates on ways you can study abroad and ways you can migrate through the skilled workers migration route. I also give latest updates on UK immigration policy changes and other UK immigration news. If this content looks exciting to you and you gain value for this video, you can share it with your friends and contact and subscribe to this channel to join the amazing evergreen family. So guys, let's get straight into today's video. Thousands of migrant skilled workers in the UK have been threatened with deportation despite doing nothing wrong. This is as a result of the enforcement carried out by the UK Home Office to sanction some hairy employers issuing out excess of certificate of sponsorship to migrant skilled workers to come and work here in the UK. Upon arriving here, most of these employers will not be able to guarantee any work placement for these migrant skilled workers who have traveled from different countries to the UK to come and work. I'll be sharing my screen with you so we can read through a report put together by The Guardian so we can get full understanding of what migrant skilled workers are currently facing here in the UK. Thousands of innocent and abandoned migrant care workers told to leave the UK. Observers and Bureau of Investigative Journalism find out that workers whose sponsoring company had been sanctioned were also being punished. Some of the reason for the threat of deportation is as a result of the company that sponsors most of these migrant skilled workers to come and work in the UK. Their license to sponsor skilled workers has been revoked. The migrant skilled workers that they have already sponsored to come and work here in the UK will also receive a big part of the punishment from fault that is not entirely theirs. Most of these employers know very well they are not supposed to issue out excess of COS when they do not have job placement for those they are sponsoring, but they went ahead to do so. Innocent migrant skilled workers who on their own came into the UK to work for the sponsored employer will share a big part of the sanction that the employers will receive from the UK Home Office. Thousands of migrant care workers have been threatened with deportation despite doing nothing wrong, after UK Home Office took enforcement action against their employers. In one case, a brother and sister from India who paid recruitment agency $18,000 to secure care job in the UK, only to find they are be scammed. We are told they must find another company to sponsor them in 60 days or leave the country. This is the case of thousands of migrant skilled workers here in the UK. Once the company that sponsors you to come and work here in the UK loses its license, those the company sponsored to come and work here will also be affected. They will be given 60 days to look for a different sponsor or leave the UK. Zainab, contractor 22, and her brother Ismail 25 had borrowed money from relatives to cover the cost of moving to the UK. But when they arrived, they said the accommodation they had been promised did not materialize and they were not given any shift. In April, they found out that the company that had sponsored their visa had been stripped of license to recruit workers from abroad by the UK Home Office. But the enforcement action would also punish them. The siblings were sent a letter saying that because their sponsorship was linked to the sanctioned company, it was no longer valid. This is one area the UK Home Office needs to look into critically. The migrant skilled workers that the company sponsored to come and work here in the UK, do not have any idea about some of the shady deals some of these companies are doing. The companies that are engaged in all of this issuing out of excess certificate of sponsorship should be the one to bear any of this sanction, and not the innocent migrant skilled workers who innocently come into the UK to work as a skilled worker without knowing some of the deals these employers are doing. They have since applied to more than 300 employers between them in the hope of finding another company to sponsor them, but as in common, they have been unable to find any willing to take them. This is another big issue for migrant skilled workers whose employer's sponsorship license were revoked. Once you are currently sponsored by an employer, it's very difficult for you to get another employer that will want to employ you to switch your sponsorship. This is the case of thousands of migrant skilled workers here in the UK. There are some whose employer could not guarantee them the required contractual hour for them to work. Getting 20 hours on a second employment is a difficult task for them. Most of the employers, once they find out you are sponsored by a particular company, they will tell you you are not supposed to work on a second employment because they do not know that the law permits you to work 20 hours on a second employment. So because they find out you have a restricted working pattern or working hours in your right to work, do not want to employ you to do 20 hours in their own company. This is really sad for thousands of migrant skilled workers that find themselves in this predicament. Their case is not a one-off. An investigation by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism and the Observers has found that 3,081 care workers had their certificate of sponsorship cancelled by the UK Home Office in 2022 and 2023. Guys, a whopping 3,081 migrant skilled workers had their visas, their care workers visa cancelled because the certificate of sponsorship their employer used in sponsoring them has been revoked by the UK Home Office. In 94% of cases, the reason for the cancellation was that the company that hired them had its right to sponsor workers revoked. Another care worker threatened with deportation described the experience as hell. The 32-year-old woman, Catherine, left her job as a teacher in Nigeria to become a carer in the UK. She and her husband sold their land and car dealership business to cover relocation costs. But she says she was not given the work she had been promised. The manager was not taking my calls, she said. We were frustrated and confused. K. Moyo, registered manager of S&K Care 24, admitted no care workers sponsored by the company had been given any work because it had not managed to secure care provision contract with local authority. So guys, this is another area the UK Home Office needs to look into. These companies that are engaged in some of these practices should be the one to bear all of this burden, not the innocent migrant skilled workers who came into the UK to work genuinely. Some of these employers know very well they do not have any job placement for these persons they are sponsoring to come and work here in the UK. But they go ahead, issue out excess of certificate of sponsorship to migrant skilled workers to come here and work in the UK. Most of these migrant skilled workers left their job, sold their property, borrowed money from friends, family, and relatives to be able to put all of this process in place. At the end of the day, they'll be abandoned when they get into the UK because the employers could not provide any job placement for them. The registered manager in Care 24 saying all the migrant skilled workers they've employed to come and work here in the UK, none of them have been given any job placement because the company has not secured any provisional contract from the local authority. Just imagine, the company do not have any contract from the local authority to be able to operate care home or have any resident that they will be taking care of. But they've gone ahead to issue out certificate of sponsorship. Home Office issue out sponsorship license to a company that do not have a valid provisional contract from the local authority to operate a care home in the first place. The UK Home Office should look into this issue The companies that are engaged in all of this should be the one to face the sanction that will be imposed on them, and allowing the migrant skilled workers a longer time to look for alternative sponsor who can sponsor them to extend their stay here in the UK. 381,000 migrant skilled workers had their visa cancelled as a result of UK Home Office sanctioning the company that sponsored them to come and work here in the UK. So guys, if you are planning to come into the UK to work as a skilled workers in the UK, the company that is sponsoring you to come and work here as a skilled worker in the UK, let them put it in writing, right? Like the contract you sign, the employment contract you are signing to come and work here, you abide with all the terms, the rules and regulations of the company. The company should also write in details that once you arrive the UK, you'll be guaranteed your normal contractual hour in a week. This is the case of thousands of migrant skilled workers here in the UK. They've had their visa cancelled, and the UK Home Office have given them 60 days to look for alternative sponsor or leave the country. Getting a sponsorship job in the UK is no longer easy. Most employer will not want to recruit you. Your right to work clearly states that you are sponsored by a particular company and you are supposed to work with that company. Explaining to them that the certificate of sponsorship of that company has been revoked, most of them will not give you that ample time to hear this explanation. So guys, if you are planning to come into the UK as a skilled worker, these are some of the things you need to factor in before you make your final decision. So guys, we've come to the end of this video. You can give this video a thumbs up so YouTube can recommend to a wider audience, because this very topic concerns migrant skilled workers in the UK and those who will be coming into the UK or who are planning to come into the UK. That is why you need to share this content. People are being scammed, people are being misled, wrong information are being given to migrant skilled workers with false pretense or with the hope that once they arrive the UK, everything will be easy. It's not so. There are so many bottlenecks that you need to face if you get a sponsorship from the wrong company. Share this content, give a thumb up so YouTube can recommend this content to a wider audience, and so many migrants out there will benefit from it. See you in my next video.